Shabbos, everyone. This week's Parsha is out of Behar and Bechukosai. Bechukosai begins, Hashem says, Im Bechukosai telechu. If you walk in my statutes, yes, mitzvosai tishmeru, and you observe my mitzvahs, vasisam oisam, and you perform them, then I will bless your land with abundant rain, and you will have much produce, and you will live in peace and prosperity. Sages ask, what does it mean if you walk in my statutes? The word statutes here doesn't refer to a chok, such as certain mitzvahs of which we don't understand their meaning, because then it wouldn't say walk. Telechu would say if you observe my statutes, if you fulfill my statutes. What does it mean to walk? Rashi says it means to toil in Torah study, which is absolutely true. But the Kedushas Levi asks, and he says, what exactly is the pasuk coming to teach us? The pasuk could have said very simply, Im tishmeru es mitzvosai. If you observe my mitzvahs, I will bless you with all of these, the following, the produce, the success, the rain, everything. What exactly is being conveyed by saying, walk in my statutes? What is walk? What does it mean we're walking? So there are many, many beautiful commentaries. I want to share with you one thought. And that is, we find in the Sefer Shmuel Aleph, the book of Samuel 1, the famous incident in which the Philistines, it says in chapter 17, the Philistines assembled their camps of war, and they chose a champion to come forth, Goliath. He was 13 feet tall, 13 feet tall. He wore armor that was too heavy for one human being to wear. The armor covered him completely, his face, his forehead, his head, his whole body, his neck, his arms, his legs, and he had a sword that was huge. And he came and he said to the Jews, choose for yourself a man, let him come. And if he defeats me, we will be your slaves. If I defeat him, you will be our slaves. There's no need for all of us to go to war. It says that when King Saul and Israel heard these words, they were terrified and greatly afraid. And one can only imagine how awestruck they were at the sight of this huge individual. Now, David wasn't a member of the Jewish battalion, but his brothers were. And his father sent David with some food to bring. And this Philistine Goliath presented himself every single morning for 40 consecutive days, presenting a challenge and expressing derisive, derogatory expressions in reference to the God of Israel. David heard Goliath's proclamation, and he also heard people say that the king of Israel, Saul, said he will enrich whoever kills this man with great wealth, and he'll give him his daughter in marriage. David heard this, and David said, he went to King Saul, and he said to King Saul, let no man lose heart because of Goliath. Your servant, David, will go forth and fight this Philistine. King Saul said to him, you cannot go against this Philistine. You're a young man. He's a warrior. David said, your servant was a shepherd, and there was a lion, there was a bear that would come and carry off sheep from the flock. I went after it. I struck it down and I rescued the sheep. If it would attack me, I would grab it. I have slain a lion and a bear, and this Philistine will be just like them, for he has disgraced the battalions of the living God. And then David said, Hashem, who rescued me from the hand of the lion and from the hand of the bear, he will rescue me from this Philistine. King Saul said to him, "Go, may Hashem be with you." And Saul dressed David with battle garments. But David was unwilling to go forth this way. He wasn't accustomed to it. He said, "I cannot walk with these." So he removed them. What did David take? He took a staff in his hand and picked out 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in his bag. And he had a slingshot in his hand. And then with this, he approached the Philistine. The verse continues. When Goliath came closer and closer to David, the Philistine looked and he saw him and he derided him. But David was a young, ruddy, handsome young man. And Goliath said, "Am I a dog that you come after me with sticks?" And he cursed David. Then he said to David, "Come to me that I may offer your flesh to the fowl of the heavens and the beasts of the field." And David said to him, "You come to me with a sword, a spear, a javelin, but I come to you with the name of God, master of all that exists, God of the battalions of Israel that you have ridiculed. On this day Hashem will deliver you into my hand. I shall smite you and I will remove your head from upon you, and I shall offer the carcass of the Philistine camp this day to the fowl of the heavens and to the beasts of the earth. Then the whole earth will know that there is a God in Israel. And this assembly will know that it's not through sword and spear that God grants salvation, but for unto Hashem is the battle. He shall deliver you into our hands." With that, the Philistine arose and moved closer to David. And David hurried to the line towards this Philistine, stretched his hand into the sack, took a stone and slung it. And he struck the Philistine in the only exposed part of his face, in his forehead, between the eyes. And there he smote the Philistine and killed him. There was no sword in David's hands. So he ran and he stood by the Philistine. He took his sword, he drew it. And even though he had already killed Goliath, he decapitated him. When the Philistines saw that the hero was dead, they ran away. The men of Israel and Judah rose up and shouted exultantly, and they pursued the Philistines to the valley. David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem and his weapons and put it in his tent. We're all familiar with this, but there is something here that is so far-reaching. I believe we should commit this to memory. King David said, "You come with a sword, a spear and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of God." This means King David, what was he thinking? He was a young man. He had great faith in God, but he was a young man, unskilled. He wasn't a warrior. And here he's looking at this experienced individual of gigantic proportion. Not only is he intrepid, but he has the audacity to stand and to tell this Philistine the emes, the truth. And he makes a statement that we should all commit to memory and grave in our hearts. There are those who come with sword, spear, and javelin, but we come in the name of God. That means we come, we have a different path. We see things differently. And that I would like to suggest is the meaning in Bechukosai Telechu. If you walk in this path of my statutes, what is that path? Everyone might see drones and rockets. They might see England and France and Spain and others condemning Israel and saying we're going to boycott and who knows what we're going to do in the United Nations and criticism. And they hear from all of the wealth that's found in the Middle East and who knows who they're going to support Iran, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and we see this, and people, they say, how could this be? Israel is up against Goliath. But they fail to realize something. The world comes with their spear, their sword, and their javelin. But we have a different path. We walk in the statute of Hashem. We walk knowing that whatever is taking place in this world is under the supervision, the guidance, the direction of Hashem, creator and master of all that exists. We come in his name. That's the meaning if you walk in my statutes. We walk a different path. We see things differently. We see things through the glasses and the eyes of true faith, emes, of our Torah. And King David said in Psalm 20 that we say every day in our prayers, Eile v'rechev, these come with chariots, ve'eile v'asusim, they come with horses, v'anachnu, but we, b'shem Hashem Elokeinu naskir, we mention the name of the Lord our God. Hema karavan follow. They with the horses, the chariots, with their rockets, with their drones, with their condemnations, with their boycott, with whatever, they fall down. V'anachnu kamnu v'nisaydan. We will arise and be refreshed. This is what the Torah tells us. To go in the path of faith and not to be overwhelmed or impressed with the giants that stand against us, with the weapons of the spears, javelins, and swords. For we have the most mighty weapon that exists in the entire universe, and that is the name of Hashem. May Hashem enable us that we should truly be able to sense this faith and have it guide us in the proper path that Hashem chooses. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay Jewish. Have a good Shabbos.